You wake up in a room you don't recognize. The walls are bare, the air thick with silence. The last thing you remember is the warmth of belonging, the certainty that you had finally found the truth, the one answer to life's chaos. But now, as your fingers trace the unfamiliar edges of this place, a colder realization creeps in. You were wrong. The people you trusted, the ones who promised salvation, were not saviors. They were architects of a prison you didn't even know existed. And the most terrifying part, you helped build it. How does someone fall so completely into a world that isn't real? How does the mind surrender to a lie so absolute that questioning it feels like betrayal? And what does it take, what snap in the soul, to finally see the chains? Cults don't always announce themselves with robes and chants. Sometimes they wear the face of love, of purpose, of family. They don't just recruit, they rewrite. And the most insidious lie they sell isn't about gods or leaders. It's the lie that you need them to survive. But here's the paradox. The very thing that traps you is also the key to your freedom. Because if a belief can be implanted, it can be uprooted. If an identity can be given, it can be taken back. You reach for the door handle. Your fingers tremble, not from fear, but from something worse, the quiet, creeping doubt that you might not actually want to leave. This is the first trap, the deepest one. Cults do not begin with chains. They begin with answers. In a world of uncertainty, they offer the most dangerous narcotic of all, absolute certainty. And like any addiction, the withdrawal is agony. Why the mind clings to its cage. Carl Jung warned of the shadow, the parts of ourselves we refuse to acknowledge. Cults weaponize this. They don't just sell dogma, they sell identity. The moment you trade your I for their we, the prison is built. Not from the outside in, but from the inside out. Friedrich Nietzsche saw it first. Madness is rare in individuals, but in groups, it is the rule. The cult does not need brute force. It needs something far more corrosive, your own complicity. These are the 3 psychological hooks they use. Imagine starving for years. Then someone offers you a feast. Would you question why they're feeding you, or just eat? Cult recruiters don't preach, they love. They mirror your deepest unmet need, belonging, purpose, salvation, until you mirror them back. The thought-stopping paradox. Doubt is sin. Questions are weakness. Viktor Frankl, survivor of Auschwitz, wrote that the last human freedom is choosing one's attitude. Cults steal this first. They make the mind its own jailer. The manufactured apocalypse, Jean-Paul Sartre called it bad faith, pretending you have no choice. Cults thrive on manufactured crisis. The world is ending, only we can save you. The greater the outside threat, the tighter the grip inside. The ultimate lie, freedom feels like betrayal. Arthur Schopenhauer saw the trap. We forfeit 3/4 of ourselves to be like other people. But in a cult, the cost is higher. To doubt is to betray. To leave is to annihilate the self you've become. This is why escape is so rare. It's not just about fleeing a place. It's about unbecoming a person. But what happens when the mind starts to wake up? When the cracks in the mirror no longer show a stranger, but something worse. You notice the first crack on a Tuesday. Maybe it's the way your leader's eyes dart just a fraction too long at the donation basket. Maybe it's how your best friend, the one who brought you in, flinches when you mention the outside world. Small things, tiny fractures in the perfect facade. But in a world built on absolute truth, doubt is an earthquake, cognitive dissonance. the mind at war with itself. Leon Festinger's famous study of a doomsday cult revealed the horrifying truth. When prophecy fails, believers don't abandon their faith. They double down. The more reality contradicts the dogma, the tighter they cling. Why? Because the alternative, admitting you were wrong, means staring into the abyss. It means facing the years lost, the family you abandoned, the person you became. The human mind will rewrite the entire world before it rewrites its own story. The Stockholm Syndrome of the soul, Aldous Huxley, warned, "It's dark because you are trying too hard. Lightly, child, lightly. Learn to do everything lightly." But cults teach the opposite, that suffering is sacred, that pain is purification, and so victims defend their tormentors. They call the cage home, because the terror of homelessness is worse. Your memories fray, your instincts dull. You become a stranger in your own mind. Brain scans show something terrifying. Extreme belief literally rewires neural pathways. The cult doesn't just control what you think, it changes how you think. Dopamine hits when you conform. Cortisol spikes when you doubt. Your own biology becomes the warden. But sometimes, rarely, a mind breaks free. Not through force, but through a single unbearable thought. What if I deserve better? The door handle feels cold in your hand. You don't open it, not yet. Because leaving isn't just about walking out the door. It's about stepping into a world you don't know, carrying the broken pieces of who you used to be. These are the 5 stages of leaving a cult, and based on real stories from people who've been there. Number 1 is the silent doubt. You start to notice things that don't make sense. The leader's promises don't match reality. When you ask questions, you don't get answers, just guilt. But saying anything feels wrong, like you're betraying everything. So you keep quiet. The doubt grows inside you, like a secret you can't share. Number 2 is betraying yourself. You find yourself lying to people outside the group, defending things that deep down make you uncomfortable. You look in the mirror and don't recognize yourself anymore. It's like a part of you has changed just to survive. Number 3 is the memory that breaks you. One night, something small but powerful comes back to you. Maybe it's the way your mom used to hum while cooking, or how the rain smelled before you were told the outside world was dangerous. That memory hurts because it reminds you of what you've lost. Number 4, the explosion of doubt. Once you let yourself question things, it's like opening a door to a room full of fire. Everything you believed starts to fall apart. People you thought were your friends call you weak or lost. The leader warns everyone about people like you. Love turns into rejection. Number 5, the free fall. You leave. Or maybe they force you out. Either way, you're on your own now. The group was like a cage, but it also gave you structure. Without it, you feel lost. The world feels too big, too loud, too overwhelming. You don't know who you are anymore. But here's the thing they never told you. The emptiness you feel isn't nothing. It's space. Space to rebuild. Space to remember who you are. Space to ask yourself, what do I believe? And so, step by step, you begin to break free. The journey is long and arduous, but with each step, the chains grow lighter. You start to see the world not as the cult painted it, but as it truly is, messy, unpredictable, and full of possibility. But there is one final step, one ultimate truth that will redefine everything you thought you knew. What is the nature of freedom? What does it mean to truly live? These are the questions that await you at the end of your journey. You look down at the path you've climbed. The struggles, the doubts, the moments of despair. And you realize something profound. The freedom you sought was never about escaping the cult. It was about finding yourself. This is the ultimate truth. Freedom is not a destination. It is not a place you arrive at, a state you achieve, or a prize you win. Freedom is a process, a practice, a way of being. It is the courage to face uncertainty, the willingness to question, the determination to create your own meaning. Philosopher Jean-Paul Sartre argued that freedom is both a gift and a burden. To be free is to be responsible for your own existence, to create your own values in a world that offers none. This is the paradox of freedom. It is both exhilarating and terrifying. But here's the secret: the terror fades. The more you embrace your freedom, the more you realize that it is not a burden, but a privilege. You are no longer bound by the expectations of others, no longer confined by the walls of ideology. You are free to be yourself, to live authentically, to choose your own path. At its core, freedom is about choice. The choice to think for yourself, to question authority, to reject the narratives that no longer serve you. It is the choice to forgive, to heal, to move forward. It is the choice to live, not as a reflection of someone else's expectations, but as a true expression of your own soul. As you stand on this mountaintop, you realize that your journey is not over. Freedom is not a one-time act. It is a lifelong commitment. It is a daily practice of questioning, growing, and evolving. And so, you take a deep breath, step forward, and begin again. Because the ultimate truth is this: freedom is not something you find. It is something you create. The chains of cultism are real, but they are not unbreakable. With courage, awareness, and determination, you can reclaim your freedom and rebuild your life. The journey is hard, but it is worth it. Because in the end, freedom is not just about escaping the past. It is about creating a future that is truly your own.